There are 5 main jobs that need doing on the Range Rover. Number 1 of which is a service. Now I have oil and plugs, but I don't have filters, so I can't really do anything until those parts come in. And that's also the problem with job number 2, which is the brake pads. Again, I'm waiting on the pads to come in, and there's no point starting on it until I have all the bits that I need to finish the job. And that also impacts job number 3, which is investigating the suspension clunk. The plan was to get the car up in the air, get the wheels off it, and when I'm doing the brakes, that's a good time to get in there and have a poke around, see what that clunk is. So that's on hold as well. As is job number 4, which is the welding on the back. I plan to do it outdoors where I've got lots of space and light, but the weather isn't cooperating today, so that's going to have to wait. And job number 5, which I thought would be relatively straightforward, which was to replace the tires. My plan was to get good quality rubber on the 18s that are on it. I quite like these wheels, but my wife, and to be fair, this is her car, and she has a picture in her head of what she wants it to look like, and those 18s are not part of that picture. So I'm now on the lookout for a set of 20s with good quality rubber on them. And to be fair, the man math works out in my head, because these were 150 quid a corner for good quality tires, whereas I'll probably be able to get a set of wheels and tires for half that. So that's her decision. I did warn her that the ride quality is probably not going to be as good, but it didn't matter. She wanted to modernize the car, and I get that, and I'm with her on that. So I can't really do anything with those until I find a set that's suitable and within a reasonable driving distance. So all that stuff is on hold for, I think, probably the rest of the day, which means I can get on with something else that I think dates the car, and also something that it's a fun job. It's one of my favorite things to do, which is to deal with this rather old-fashioned stereo. It's a good quality unit, and it's been well installed, but it needs to come out. And I've got a new one here that has just arrived today. I'm very excited to see how all this works out. Now, generally speaking, in the past, when I've swapped out the stereo in a car, I've generally gone for well-known brand like a JVC or a Sony or an Alpine, something like that. If I'm honest, they tend to be quite expensive, and then the interface isn't great, and the quality of the graphics isn't what I expect it to be, and I've just generally been a bit underwhelmed by what I'm getting for the money. So this time I've decided, I've done a little bit of research out there, and I've come across this brand that I'm not affiliated with in any way, shape or form, called Eonon. They have a website, a UK website. They have an owner's manual in actual English, and just generally speaking, they seem to be reasonably good quality. And I don't know, I haven't put it in yet, so we'll see. But I've decided to take a punt on it because I get this 10.5-inch screen plus a DAB kit plus a backup camera, and it comes with Android Auto and CarPlay, and it's a high definition screen, and all of this was 220 quid. And I don't know, I just thought it was worth the punt. What I really like about it is, even though it's got a 10.5-inch screen, it is a double din unit that the screen sits proud of. So that will actually take up this will fit in the space really, really well. And I think it'll really modernize this. But the only thing I'm not sure about, I haven't used it yet, so I don't know. I could be talking absolute garbage. And also, I haven't done the installation yet. I don't know what horror is waiting for me behind here, and how well what's in here will go in with that. So there's a lot of head scratching yet to do. But I am curious to get in here, because when I got this car, this has always been loose. So I wonder, has somebody been in here mucking around in order to do this install? This looks like a good install, but this has always bugged me. So if I can fix this and then get rid of this, which is not great, and get something new and modern in there, that will make me very, very happy today. And it's something I think which will really, really help modernize the car. Right. So I think what we have here is a super bodge. So this is the original surround that's meant to go in. That's just meant to snap in to what I think is this, which is the original car part of the dashboard back behind that. And what it looks like has happened is someone has cut this out rather than getting a double DIN kit, I think they've cut that out, basically screwed the dashboard straight into the gap without using a double DIN adapter, and then I've just somehow like just bodged this in here. Oh, it's awful. The problem is that they've cut my dashboard, so I kind of have no issue, I have no choice now but to work with it. But it does mean that I need to go off and get a double DIN cage, because that, once I get that out, however I get that out, there's going to be nothing to mount the new stereo to, and I'm not putting it in a bodgy way like that. So yeah, a little bit surprising, but at the same time not. And to be fair, you know, it was a good bodge, never moved, never rattled, this didn't squeak, so it did what it was supposed to do. But it's certainly not very future-proofed, is it? Well, this very unusual tool that I picked up in I think Aldi or Lidl, I can't remember which one, a while back, has actually proved its worth. It's the only thing that will go down inside that little gap in there. So I'm gonna set you down over here for a second. Actually, might be able to. All right, let's see if I can just persuade it into the screw. Is that in? No, I've missed it a little bit. All right. The light here is the issue. I can't really see what I'm doing very well. Maybe if I put the torch on and set it back a distance. Alright, just balance that on the... That'll give me enough light. All I need is just the glow in there. Alright, let's try again. It's kind of ugly and bodgy when you get it in there, and then you have to kind of, once you get it into the screw, you then have to leverage it into position. Alright, that's that. It's actually not in there very well. Alright. Yeah, the screw's falling out, but I'm not fussed about that because I can get it out later. The main thing is the stereo is out, and there is the screw, so I don't have to worry about fishing that out later. Alright. Okay, that, as you can see, oops, no you can't because I got my stupid finger in the way, but that has no double DIN bracket in it, so that needs, I need to go off to the shop and pick one of those up and put it in properly. That's a mess. Now I know it doesn't look like it, but I'm actually not a million miles from being finished here. I have my new cage that I got in Halfords. 30 bloody quid that cost me. That hurt. That really bugged me. But it's the right way to do it, because if I ever need to take the stereo out again, I don't have to do all this palaver and rip everything out. I can actually just use 2 keys and slide it out. So I'm happy with that arrangement. I'm just a little... I just thought 30 quid for a piece of metal was a bit saucy. But anyway, I digress. The wiring loom itself is pretty straightforward. It's an ISO connector that just pops right in. There are a few straggly wires. There's 2 wires here, say, for steering wheel control, which don't really have a natural home in the old harness. But this is the adapter box that was connected to the Alpine unit. It has this 3.5mm cable, but when you look down at the unit itself, it's only comprised of 2 cables. So I'm wondering if that cable and that cable will splice into the adapter. If it did, that would be a result. I'd be really pleased with that. The other things I need to do is I need to connect. I'm going to use the mic that's in it already and just plug that in. There's a DAB, or not a DAB, sorry, there's a GPS. You can see that little square there next to the speaker. There's a little GPS unit, comes with stereo, so that's where I'm going to put that. I'm just going to glue it to the top of the dash and run the wire down behind the speaker cover. The DAB is going to go here on the screen. Hopefully the heated window elements aren't going to affect that, and then I'm just going to run the wires down inside this trim panel here. And then I got to take the glove box off, because I've got that wire and I've got the backup wires to run through the car and feed in to the stereo, and there isn't a natural gap in there. And also I've got a few straggly cables like these USBs which need a home, and the glove box is the best place for them because there's really nowhere in the dashboard that's a natural fit for them. And yeah, that's this bit. And then there's the whole Backup camera palaver. So the difficulty with the backup camera is that there's nowhere really natural to mount it. I mean, you could potentially screw it in underneath the lip here, but I'd be worried about that getting broken, and also then I have to run a wire down through this and out through this, you know, through here somewhere, and it's a real faff, and I'm messing with an already dicky headlining, so I didn't want to do that. A much needed solution is to mount it on the lower half of the tailgate somewhere, and I'll show you my solution in a second. But in order to be able to get it to work, you need to wire it in, and the way it works is there's a big long cable, leads all the way up to the that plugs into the camera, and then it needs a trigger wire as well, something to activate it, and it usually takes that off the reversing light, which is this bulb here. So you just take some trim panels off the back of it. That's where the reversing light feeds through. So now I'm going to take this wire, keep doing that. I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to splice in the trigger wires, and hopefully that's all it'll take to make the backup camera itself work. And then I'm going to run the cables up through here. I mean, there's so much space in there, it's hilarious. It's something big and bulky is meant to be housed in there. I assume this is all the sat-nav stuff, or digital cable and stuff here as well. But my car doesn't have it, so hence I've got wires flapping around the boot. But my backup camera solution, I think, is pretty neat. What I did is I took a soldering iron and just cut a square into the reversing lamp, and then just sealed and bonded the camera to it. I can't really adjust it in terms of its angle, but then, you know, they're pretty wide angle anyway, so I think I'll be okay. And the nice thing about doing this is I'm not putting any holes in the bodywork, and if it doesn't work and it all goes pear-shaped, I can just get a new lens and a new camera. No harm, no foul. So I'm really pleased with that, but still lots to do before I get finished. So everything is loosely wired in. The only thing that's not 100% buttoned down is the steering wheel cables, because there's two cables and they're all different colors, so I don't know what works with what. So I've done a quick kind of just bodge just to put them together there. And if that works, great, and if not, I'll swap it the other way, and if not, I'll have to have another think about it. But you know, everything's in the GPS, the antenna, the backup camera, USBs, which includes one CarPlay. No, sorry, this is CarPlay. That is one of those USBs works the digital radio. This is kind of a dud, and this one is mostly for stuff that's, you know, amps and all that kind of subwoofers and all that kind of garbage. The reason I have to have this in there is because there's one outlet for the telephone mic, and the only thing I haven't put in yet is the power cable, which sits that's around this. There it is. Nope, that's not it. Runs off the harness. Where is the power cable? There it is. So I just need to tickle that in there, and then snap the screen on the front of it and see if it works. The digital radio is in. Cable runs down the side, up under the panels underneath the dashboard. I tried taking the glove box out, but it was too much of a hassle. The backup camera ended up coming through here because I didn't actually have enough cable to go all the way around the outside and back up to the dash. So it actually runs across under the seat and then comes up. You can't really see it, but it comes up through here, and then this panel comes out pretty easy. So I use that to be able to route the cable up, and then the GPS just runs down through the dash there. That's fixed to the dash now, and this will just sit behind the speaker. So that's it really. All that's left now is just get the screen on, plug it in, and see if it works.